Alright, good morning. Well, actually afternoon for you guys, because I guess it is noon for you. But, found a couple of things out. We are going to go today and start tearing apart the white truck, getting everything together. We have a bunch of buyers on stuff, the bed, the cab, you know, frame. We're trying to get rid of everything, doors. So we're going to end up putting everything together, getting it all ready for like anybody that's going to come and pick this stuff up. Might have the cab sold. But I'm realizing, so I've been looking at the load board last night, and I was able to do one pick, one drops for the longest time, but I do think that we are going to have to call it quits on that. And I found a load last night, one paying $700 from West Mifflin to New Jersey, which absolutely terrible, but it was only 2 cars. So I found another one paying $450 going from West Mifflin to also Newark, New Jersey. So to bundle those two, going from the eastern or western side of Pennsylvania to the eastern side of Pennsylvania for $1150. So we're gonna have to start bundling these loads if we're gonna start getting good loads. So starting Monday, that is what we're gonna be doing. Today, the plan is to do a complete dually swap on my truck, 3500 suspension, everything, swap it over. So we'll see how that goes. Now, on top of that, we're also going to be putting the seats together, getting the bed off, hopefully unbolting the cab. We will see, getting the doors, hood, like everything ready to get sold and get out of there. So, like I said, guys, if you need anything, let me know, and I will let you guys know if we still have what is for sale. All right, so I went and bought these off of Amazon. Came with new connectors, so we have these for future reference. These are the red ones that I was talking about. So you guys can see, we have red marker lights, red, and then they're all red. So I'm gonna turn them off and I'll show you guys the color all the way down. And then bada bing, bada boom, we have nice white, look at that, white lenses. So works out good. Now I'm gonna get out of here. We gotta go to the white truck now. So let's get uncoupled and go from there. All right, trailer is hooked up. We're gonna go grab the dually, waiting on Josh to come and bring his truck because this trailer doesn't have a winch. So there are 2 straps in there. It's only going 2 miles, and we'll flip her around. 2-wheel drive in the mud. I guess we'll see how it comes out. Also loaded, so hopefully it comes out pretty good. All right, we are here, just waiting on Josh. So we're gonna grab the interior pieces that are gonna be for sale. I need to grab the 2 straps out of here. It's only going literally a mile up the road. So I need to put these all together. Didn't rain last night, so everything's dry. Then we need to grab the passenger seat, the dash. Might have the cab sold, so try to grab what I can, organize everything, make it, you know, a little bit neater. A lot of this stuff I believe is spoken for. We're just waiting on people to come and pick it up and whatnot. So, all right. Said move driver's seat over and the back seat, put everything all together as one in the back of this. We'll go from there. All right, so we got some things separated. Here is the dash bezel with 4-wheel drive, center console, tower. I got this all right here. We got the back seat. We got the front seats. I'm gonna move that over. You need help or? Yeah, I can help. All right, so here we are. He's gonna pull it that way, and hopefully we'll get it up. I think I put these I put these in enough, so we'll be able to pull right there. What's that sound your car's making? You liking your new hitch? What? Why don't you back up more? All right, here's about where we're at. There you go. This e-brake works very well. Here you go. Hold on, don't run your strap over. Okay. You good?
How you doing?
You're good. You can pull that way now. Alright, she's up on. We're gonna go get it. It's windy today. We're gonna go get it to the shop, start tearing her apart.
Did you just put 2 straps on it?
Yeah, there's 4 straps on it. 2 straps and 2 ratchets. That's 4. She's good. All right, we'll go get one. Oh my goodness, you need to haul something. Well, there you go. It's hauling. Cool. So we'll get this thing back there. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, and then we'll start pulling a rear axle out of it. Look at it sitting back there. Turn it backwards. So yeah, look at that. We got a vehicle on the trailer. Making money this week. Not really. Hopefully get some of these parts sold. We got the front wheels and front dually adapters sold today. So we'll still be able to keep it a roller. And my exhaust brake cable finally snapped. So we'll drop this here, and then we'll have him pull it up in, and then we're gonna put this on the lift. So we're gonna try to get all the body parts off of it a while as well. I'll take whatever body parts home.
You have the e-brake on, right?
Oh yeah, it's a really good e-brake too, so I'm really glad that I'm getting this rear end. And 3500 suspension. We'll say, oh, putting a 3500 suspension under a 2500 doesn't make a 3500. Well, technically it does, because that's the only difference. The only difference between a 2500 and a 3500 is the VIN number and the rear leaf springs. Film.
Oh, you're an asshole.
Close your door.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, you can see that bump right there is where you were struggling to pull over. That's where you had to really floor it, and then it just went for it. Right there.
I wasn't really struggling, but...
No, but...
You're really close on this side. You should be good.
Why did it do that? You know what? I have an idea. That's perfectly fine right there. Now what you do?
Oh boy. You don't want me to push it, or?
No, you just put a chalk behind it, drive forward.
You can just put the e-brake on.
E-brake is on, but I don't want to risk it.
Oh. Alright. Just burnouts in this driveway, it's fine.
Cutting all of that out because I'm going to get 50 million hate comments for that.
You're used to it though.
Dude, I'm telling you, the haters have been paying the bills lately.
They've been mean lately. For no reason.
Dude, it's great because they watch every single video and then they'll comment and it's like, I'm making money.
Did you? Oh.
Alright.
I see you broke your new one.
What?
Your new phone.
What do you mean?
The screen's cracked.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna blame me for this one too.
That one's from the welder.
Ah.
Alright, we'll go park. There she is. We'll go park the trailer. And then these go in the shop. Do you have the other strap, Josh? They're trying to get her in the shop. It's not going very easy.
You do have more grip there.
Oh, he will.
Yeah, but... What? You're a hook. You're a hook. Yeah.
Yeah, you got plenty. Oh boy. Just don't take out the side of the shop. Ah! Alright, none of that worked. So, guess we'll just bring it up the hill with the Sequoia. Hi-ho, Silver! Look at that. This is the fastest this thing's gone in 13 years, besides on the trailer. Alright, here's where we are at. We got both trucks up in the air. We are currently getting everything gutted, so I've got all the interior out of this one. We're going to start pulling more parts for you guys. So I just want to get everything vacuumed out at some point, but we are working on getting the rear end out of this truck now. Unfortunately, it's an open rear, so I am going to see with two-wheel drive. This is probably going to be a shit show. So I'm going to save my pumpkin out of mine, and then we'll swap them eventually, or just go and buy a nice locker setup for it. It does suck that it's an open rear, and I know it's an open rear because if I come over here, if I get under here, there's jack stands, don't worry, and I spin it, only one spins. Actually, Josh, do me a favor. Go push the e-brake down a little bit. Because sometimes, like push it down like a click or two. Sometimes you get a rear end that needs a little bit of friction. Push it down.
Spinning the other one the other way though.
Doesn't matter. Spin it or put the e-brake down a little more. Nope, definitely. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely an open rear. So we'll check on this one because this one actually does. When you put resistance on it, they both spin. I'm pretty sure when you spin the drive shaft on this one, one spins one way, one spins the other. And then when you put resistance on it, they both spin the same way. So, yeah, you can see the other one did not turn at all. So we're doing an open rear. This is the worst thing you can do for a two-wheel drive truck. But I am going to upgrade at some point. We're not going to leave it that way because we have big tires for this truck coming eventually. 20 by 12s in the front and a big set of meaty rears. This thing's going to be like 112 inches wide. And then we'll keep this set as a backup. But we were waiting today. We got the front hubs sold and the front wheels. So now we just have 4 wheels and tires. So I got door panels. This, probably just going to throw this away because one of the clips is broken. I don't think that's worth anything. So like I said, we'll just throw that away. Airbox, dash pieces, this tail light's cracked. So anything that's like cracked or broken, I'm just going to end up throwing it away. Like these taillights, we're going to throw them away. I did a fairly decent job on painting these with the black clear, but yeah, we're going to, like they're chipped up and whatnot, so they're going to get thrown right in the trash. So Josh over here, he's helping get everything taken off, and then we're going to do his truck hopefully Saturday. Hopefully Saturday. We need to redo that oil cooler and make sure it was done right. And if it still does it, then we'll probably start looking more into a head gasket or a cracked head. All right, here's where we're at. We have a lifted dually. So we got the tops off. Everything's off and ready to come out. We just need to lift the truck up high enough. Yeah, if we could have lifted the truck up higher, that would have been nice, but, you know, whatever. We need a bigger jack. We could always use the engine crane. Oh, getting there. What are you doing? At some point, we're going to have to move this out of the way, pull this way, and then re-put that back into place. There you go. All right. Now get the jack out. We'll pull this back over top. No, get the jack out, then we'll pull the axle, put the axle over top of the engine crane, then put the lift there. No, don't let that out. You have to pull the jack out. Oh yeah, that's great. All right. All right. Oh, here's where she's at. All right, so this will be our axle. Like I said, we're gonna keep, like, all the bolts and everything was pretty good on this. So I would have really liked to reverse level it by 1, but I think that this axle, this will still be, from what I'm seeing, this truck was still lower than mine. So worst case scenario, we're just gonna pull 1 out, but we're not gonna do that today because I think that everything from the factory, this is perfect. So worst case scenario, we do some drop shackles, but I think we'll leave these alone. Oh, there she is. An open diff from a 2-wheel drive. That sucks that it's open. It really does, but we'll pay to get an upgrade on it. Let's see, which one is the dominant? Here, Josh. Here, come on. Spin that. See if you can spin that. See which one's the dominant one.
That one.
Is it? It's hard to say. Oh, well.
Oh, it is.
Oh, well. Well, don't block the engine crane in too much because we're going to have to lift this one up now. This one's a lot heavier than that one because we got a fuel tank and all this stuff, so. All right. She is free officially. So, everything is free.
How he is.
All right, here's your differences, okay? 3 leaves, 1 overload, 2 spacers, 2 overloads up top. I'll get brackets for it eventually. And then here's mine. This is what I used to haul 26,000 pounds all the time, is these 4. You can see that. Oh yeah, and also this was bad. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So it's a good thing we're replacing this. This white truck has been a really good purchase because we've got the rear end out of it, a 2-wheel drive rear like I needed, and a transmission that was 2-wheel drive. We also have a drive shaft over there, but I'm going to use my custom one because it's actually a lot better. So yeah, this is my factory rear, and I also welded these perches on, and if you look at the angles, I don't think that these were correct. I think this one was straight and then this one was angled down, so it's a good thing we're doing this. Would like to swap, unless I sell it, but I would like to swap this pumpkin out to this one at some point. Not today, but eventually. But you guys can see it. We do need the brackets. You guys can see these 3,500 brackets. We do need to get a set of these. You can get these aftermarket and they bolt on. So that's really all we need. Here's the frame, factory brackets there. Those airbags, you can tell, have taken a beating. Josh, you see how these brackets on the airlift bags have taken a beating over the years? Look at that. I've split them apart with how much weight that I haul on. Look at that. This is the factory bracket that for a 4-wheel drive truck, there's a bracket that sits here. I actually ended up cutting it off. So for the 2-wheel drive, you kind of need to. Like this one, no bracket. And then this one here, there's a bracket there, so cutting that off was a really good decision.
Hope it all goes together.
Sweet. All right, rear end is technically in. There you go. We got that one, and we're reusing the bolts from the 2-wheel drive because the 4-wheel drive bolts are these stupid. So we're gonna get rid of those. I'm reusing any of the factory hardware from the 2-wheel drive, not just that, because you guys can see how much nicer these are. They're beefier. So there you go. We're finally 3,500 swapping this thing. Now, I don't know if this thing's going to know what to do with a 3,500 suspension because it's so used to dealing with these dinky little leaf packs over here. So super glad to be doing this. This was definitely worth it. This is the original leaf pack from the truck that I know of, and it's definitely seen its days. So, but I want to make sure the alignment stays the same, so that's why I'm not going to reverse level it. We'll see how high the rear end sits with this suspension. I'm hoping that it does sit low like this truck does because of being that way. Now, the 3,500 2-wheel drives do squat a little bit more than the 4-wheel drives do because the 4-wheel drives have an extra leaf pack in there. So I don't know exactly how much of a difference it makes, but this should work perfectly because I really did want the 2-wheel drive suspension. Like I wanted to make sure it was from a 2-wheel drive truck. So I got exactly what I asked for. buying this thing. So I'm really glad that nobody bought it. I'm really glad that I was able to save the parts that I needed. And Matt just bought the front wheel adapters and front tires, so I had to flip these around. You can't put these on the other way, so that kind of sucks, but he got to finally dually swap his truck. So I'm gonna get the next step in, which should be dropping this down and then pushing this up under, and we should be good there. And then we'll get that bolt in, and then it's all just get the brake line on. We'll have to bleed the brakes. The e-brake on this works really good. Hopefully it works really good with my new cables and everything, so we'll see. We might have to do some adjustments, but all in all, it should work out pretty good. Yeah, all right. Here, Josh, spin that for me so that I can show the people. So this one actually does spin both. So if anybody wants this axle...
You sure about that? No, why would you?
No, somebody buy it before I decide to take the pumpkin out and put it in mine. Because, no, I'm definitely thinking I want to do an air locker, because we're doing air suspension, doing air everything. So I feel like an air locker, because then I can get the 2-wheel drive miles per gallon with an open rear, but I can hit an air switch to lock it. So after we find out the price.
What are you doing?
All right, axle's done. I may have to use this drive shaft over here, because this is a factory drive shaft for the 2-wheel drive. My drive shaft was custom made, but I think it's bottoming out in the trans. And this thing actually sits very high in the back now. Certainly not like it used to. I don't know what the difference is with that, but I definitely don't want to reverse level it because I want the stock suspension to retain. So I may just do 2-inch drop shackles, and then that should bring it down right there with that. So everything looks good. We're going to get everything cleaned up. All I need to do yet is bleed the brakes, and we now have we have 99% of a 3500. The only thing we need to do yet is get these brackets. So we'll order, I'm going to try to find some of those aftermarket brackets to bolt to the frame, and we will have a fully functioning 3500 suspension. Good times. And then we'll probably just pintle this thing out of here. We're going to put this is actually a locking diff. So if anybody wants it. Why? What? Oh, yeah, true. Matt said where he's going, these things are going for like $1,500. It's a dually rear. $1,500 is what they're asking. If I were to get $800 for it, I'd be happy. So $800 for a dually rear. I'd be good with that, but yeah. That's weird that it locks, like both of them spin when there's a little bit of, what do you call it? Like if you put the e-brake on, yeah, you can do it. No, it's good.
Is it off the ground?
Yeah. Just spin it. Spinner. And see, they both spin the same direction. So thing is, I noticed like if you put one on the ground, the other one will spin, but if you put resistance behind it, like kick the e-brake, then they'll both spin. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, so we'll see how the new suspension acts, and then we'll go get the 3500 brackets. We'll see how this tows with a trailer behind it. Super glad I did that. We also got the part of the e-brake cable off the old one because my cable was stretching at one point, or so we thought. And I was told to put, I guess an old school trick they used to do back in the day was to put a knot in the cable. I did this a couple weeks back, and one wasn't enough, so I knotted it twice. And, well, with the new e-brake and everything, this was too much. So we have everything done correctly. New rear, new leaf springs, which this truck was only run for a couple of years, and it's been sitting for 13 years. So 2009, it's a 2005, so it really only was run for about 4 years of its life. So got the trans out of it and got the rear end out of it. So basically, like I said, we're turning 2 trucks into 1 truck at this point. So transmission, rear end, suspension, a lot of other parts have come from this truck. This thing has been an absolutely great purchase. So anybody needs any doors, turbos, we got I'm going to start tearing this thing down a little bit more tomorrow. I need to get I need to get a pintle ring for this so that I can put it on the back of this and just haul it. Door panels, intake stuff, intercooler, the bed. This thing needs to go. There's another bed in my area for sale for like $1,500, so this one's $800, and his has dents too. So this is the dent on it. This is fixable, not a big deal. So no tailgate, no bumper. His is the same way, $1,500. Like I said, 800. I'm good with that. All right, so we are done. I'm gonna go buy a pintle hitch for this thing tomorrow so we can move it around with my truck, get it out of his way. So something we did notice, if you guys see the axle here, we noticed that the springs on the two-wheel drive are actually 2 inches shorter, which isn't a big deal. I can get that taken care of. I saved my old leaf pack, so I might go and get the bushings replaced on them. And then take, you guys will see, look at the different angles too. That's actually how it's supposed to be. So let me grab a light here for you guys. So we'll take the top overloads and then the bottom overload and get rid of the 2 bottom spacers. So yeah, we'll get that at some point, and then we'll be able to move this axle back a little bit. It's not a big deal right now. I'm gonna make sure that the drive shaft isn't bottoming out in the transmission. It's not really a big deal. We'll deal with it you know, at some point. Here's the old axle sitting over here. Because not only are we going to be able to do that and pull that back, we're also starting to talk about a little bit of the air setup that we're going to be running on here. So we're going to figure that out at some point. Now that this thing isn't going to happen, that saves me a ton of money that I can throw into this thing. So this may not be worth it to some people, but it's definitely worth it to me, and it works. Works very, very well, as opposed to going and buying a whole new truck. I've had this truck already, so just going to keep running it. Everything's expensive right now, so there's no point in going out and wasting any more money. But like I said, we're gonna do some sort of air locker in this. That's why I mentioned the air system. I would love to do an air locker so I can keep the open rear for the fuel mileage, and then do an air locker so that when I'm anywhere, I can just lock it, and then it should work out. So just got to get some pricing on that. This T-case still for sale over here, by the way. NV273D, I think it is. Electronic motor. I have the seal for it, 2 quarts of ATF, so someone come and take that. But besides that, if you see anything you want, come let me know. So other than that, hope you guys enjoyed. As always, go down in the description below, go check out my Amazon affiliate links. Also, mud flap code, go check that out as well. You get $10, I think it is, in free diesel, and I get $10 in free diesel, so go check it out. Josh, you got anything to say? Anything appropriate? All right, well, here she is, just floating. So we'll get that cleaned up in the morning, go get a pintle for it, and then we'll be pulling it out of here.